Fuzzy nipples.
Oh, I'd waited for JJ to say something.
I
I knew
know.
he was going to.
I know.
Esophagus.
If I hadn't been too busy swallowing the last of the brandy snaps, Becky and I would have spoken at the same time.
I've said
My
nothing to
work
that.
here is done.
Anyway, you lot. Welcome back to the random encounter going through the Abomination Vaults, a Pathfinder AP written by Paizo. We are using Foundry Desktop. I'm rattling through this stuff. It's like I've been doing it a few times this week already. And we are quite a way in now. The last time we were here, we did have some issues with Discord. There was a heck of a lot of problems with Discord. In fact, we had latency issues, people disconnecting, people being still on but couldn't hear anything. It was all good fun. Cameras dropping out, whole lots of stuff. You'll see it if you watch the video. You'll know what I'm talking about. And as such, we ended up ending just on a single session last time, with these guys mostly knowing that where they'd headed and what was going on, and I've filled them in since so that we've got a little bit of sort of catch up on that, so we do know where we're up to. That said,
Sure.
That said, I do have a little bit of extra for everybody that's watching. This Monday gone, which would have been Monday the 1st of January, both myself and Becky and JJ, we actually did this sort of craziness on a live stream. Now, it wasn't on a random encounter stream or anything else like that. It was on my account, which if you are looking for it, it is in the description below. That is still in there, as is JJ's link to his Twitch as well. And we did a 5-hour session playing Malevolence, almost killing party members already, dealing certain fun and games with swarms that most people hadn't encountered, which caused a hell of a lot of problem for them. And we've decided that not only are we going to carry on doing that as soon as we can get everybody's calendars to align, it's like stars aligning. It could be entertaining working out when that'll happen. But we're also going to cut those episodes up and put them onto the Random Encounter YouTube channel. So if you missed our foray into doing Twitch streaming, the episodes for that are coming soon. I've just got to do quite a bit of editing, so bear that in mind. There is a bit of work to be done on that. Now, on that note, those will probably be coming down as either half-hour or hour-long episodes. I haven't quite decided yet, and I haven't got a schedule for that. But obviously, I will try and get them out relatively regularly. With it being Twitch sessions, I can't guarantee when the next one's going to be. So you might suddenly see that there are 5-hour-long episodes that suddenly appear on YouTube, and then it might be a few weeks before you see any more. Okay, so no schedule, no guarantees on that one. That is very, very much a case of when we can get round to it, when we can do it. So don't expect sudden masses of extra episodes on a weekly basis. That is not going to happen, but there is more content coming. At least that much is true. Now, in terms of this bunch, and I'm using the term nicely, this bunch of people, we are going to get into the session pretty much straight away with the discovery of a corridor that's led to a T-junction outside of the room where they fought the mimics. We'll switch ourselves over. There we are. Now onto the to the map itself. When we were wrapping up last time, what I mentioned was you've come down this corridor, you've found a T-junction. To the west of you is just a single door. It's about 10 foot away, but 5 foot away in the easterly direction, the corridor opens up into some sort of room. However, the room itself is grim. It's quite disgusting. There are mounds of white fungus blossoms from what appear to be like the corner, maybe some bits of furniture, and there is a fairly almost mouldy, damp smell coming from the room. Inver, as you're the only one there at the moment, can I ask what your nature bonus is, please?
Huh, 1.
1. Fair enough.
It is untrained, if that makes a difference.
Not so much. Okay. You can't. I mean, it's mold. It's fungus. You're not sure what it is really. It's not within your normal remit of sort of knowledge, if that makes sense.
That seems suspicious.
It's mold. It's white fungal mold.
Sure.
This is not bark mold. You know, then they'd have the landlords after them. Getting a look. So, which way we going then, folks?
I feel like we should just confirm there's nothing kooky around that corner.
Yeah.
It's going to be behind us. Staying very, very clear of the mold.
Why can't I see?
The downside. Why can't you see? Why is your token
When
suddenly
I
lost?
Because I have dark vision.
No, you don't anymore.
I should.
You've got low light vision. I think this is a change that has occurred because of the change to remastered.
I thought elves had dark vision.
Nah, elves have low light vision.
Oh,
Orcs, you
maybe
can see
it's the
in the dark.
remaster. Maybe it's the remastered thing then.
Yeah, although I think you picked up dark vision from something else previously, but potentially that's no longer there. I'm not sure what it
Tiefling
was.
stuff? Is it the tiefling stuff?
It might be. I'm pretty sure tieflings don't get dark vision anymore, which they used to, possibly. I'm
Okay.
not sure.
I hate that it's changed partway through. That's frustrating.
Yeah, I know. But unfortunately, that's them rules now.
No, I
Okay.
think I was the only one with full colour dark vision.
You're the only
Everybody
one with,
else.
Yeah, you're the only one with deeper dark vision, which is the one that allows you to see in colour. Moz has got
I definitely had
standard
dark vision before.
Yeah.
So obviously I don't anymore.
Everybody.
I thought they had low light vision.
No, no, I had normal dark vision before.
I've got
Why I
normal
didn't
dark
need
vision.
any light.
Yeah.
But
Okay.
Badger Brains only has low light vision, hence me having the torch on the shield.
Looks like I need a torch then.
Or the light spell, or something. But yes. But yeah, it's potential that it's a change, I'm afraid.
Or I can have a wander down there. So
yeah, there you go. Right.
Can you see a bit better now?
Okay. Inver, you have a look into the room. You spot that the corridor heads downwards to the south. Now, it won't have been too long. Phelan sort of wanders down within the first sort of 10-15 seconds of you being in there. Phelan, you immediately realise, looking at this mould on the floor, that this is fungal rot, and it is a really bad disease, and it is fast-acting.
Back it up. Back it up. Do not go in there.
But
Okay.
I want to touch the stuff.
Look, it's not a donut topping you should be licking off, all right?
No.
There's so many things I want to say to that, and I'm not gonna.
Yeah, under the assumption that you effectively get as
Tell me
far
about
out of
that
that space as possible. Obviously, the soft furnishings themselves are where the fungal stuff is. Yeah, every minute you spend waiting in that space is a chance of being infected with the spores. It's
Right, let's go.
It's that bad.
Let's go.
If we need to go through that room, We'll do it when I can do a flaming sphere.
Effie, kick open the door so we can put a door between us and it. Keep moving.
Oh, am I just opening the door without listening? I can do that. I can be careless.
Come on, poor
More
impulse
trick.
control.
The
I'm
one
in.
time we need you to actually just keep moving.
Okay.
But you normally yell at me.
Yeah, fair.
And you love it.
No.
There was a pause.
Neffy doesn't have parent issues. What are you on about?
Okay. A counter wrapped around the northern and northeastern wall bears a few cracked serving dishes. A dusty and shattered display case features only grim and broken glass. However, as you step into the room and start having a look around, you realise that there are words carved into the display saying they are watching you.
Who are watching us, though, is the question. Right, we need to let everybody through the door, don't we, and shut it? Come on.
I would be a big fan of that, yes.
Okay.
We investigate the room.
All right. You start having a look around, and as you sort of see, most of it is just to say it's got the cabinet, the counter with the cracked serving dishes on it. There's the display case down in the south. However, you start having a look around, and the display case itself, although it's got broken glass in it, and it's quite a grim sort of thing, what you do realise is that there are actually hinges on one of the edges of the display case, as in against the wall.
Secret tunnel.
So yes, you're relatively happy to stay that there is a door in this room that heads south that you kind of swing open the cabinet from, and that's how you get through to it.
Should we have a quick peer through the northern door just to see if that joins up with the passage that we passed earlier?
We can
Because
try.
this seems to be some sort of serving room.
Oh, and we didn't clear the south of the corridor, so yeah.
Mark this door without opening it, but can I scrawl on it fungus? Or something that will remind us not to go running through it unless we're going to keep running.
You've got chalk.
Aww.
You can easily write on the wall, on the door. That's no problems whatsoever.
Don't fungus open inside.
I'll listen at this door.
Are you entirely sure you've got over your ratkin? Phelan, you listen at the door and you do not hear any sort of sounds coming from the other side of it. You give it a good once over. The door appears to be perfectly fine. And when you open it, I realise that the map is fogged again because we've moved, we've updated in a few other bits and pieces. But this does actually link around to the place that Neffy and Invar snuck over to try and avoid the basilisks and have a look what was going on. This is actually the door that they came up to that they decided that they weren't going to open because you and Moz were elsewhere. So with a little bit of discerning and having a look out, you realise that this will go back over to that corridor that's down the centre, where the bridge is, and various other sort of bits and pieces that you've seen before.
Oh. I shall apprise people of my pondering of local cartographical anomalies.
Now we can do the listening and the can I feel anything stuff because we've got time.
Okay.
I'm going to stand here and do the can I feel anything because that should get me a reasonable radius.
You do
I'll
not
do the
detect
magic
anything. You do not detect anything.
What about listening? Just general perception listening.
Just general perception. I guess we can do just general perception, can't we? You can't hear anything.
Okay.
I've also been
Seems
feeling
perfectly safe.
very silly. I've been rolling dice on the system rather than rolling dice in the tray. I've got real dice for this game.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's because you made us do the system ones on Monday.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I'm still upset about that.
More important.
Oh no, they have changed the dark vision rules.
Mm.
Dark vision can only see in black and white. Greater dark vision can see through magical darkness,
Yeah,
which
that's
normal
what
dark
it
vision
used.
can't.
Yeah, it's what it used to be. It's more the fact that it seems that Neffy's character's lost it for some reason, and not sure why.
Well, no, because we definitely commented on the fact that mine was the only one that could see colour in an early episode, and now that shouldn't be a thing.
Mm.
Oh yes, everybody can. Yeah, potentially.
Because we used to be able to see, depending on which character was focused, the screen would change between black and white and colour.
Yeah, yeah. Although that said, you've got a torch in here with you, so that's probably why everything's in colour at the moment.
Okay. Fair enough.
We haven't quite got round to strapping the ever-burning torch onto the back of the badger, but the minute we can miniaturize it. Small saddle upon a badger.
Yeah, either miniaturize the torch or or enlarge the badger. It's one or the other.
Oh, the badger's already sized medium.
Yes, he is.
No, I want him to large.
You want to ride the badger into battle, don't you?
Battle badger.
Yep. Battle badger. You'd never
well,
boff it,
look.
would you?
At that size, it might boff.
Who
No.
would boff a battle badger?
He'd boff the enemy. You wouldn't want to go and boff the badger. He'd be pretty scary.
Only if the enemy consented.
Biff, baff, boff the badger's line. Biff, baff, boff the badger. Sorry, DM. Wait,
Right.
secret roles. We're done for. Caves.
For some reason, the entire dungeon collapses and we all die.
No comment.
It would be deserved.
Yeah. New campaign.
Right. Anyway.
Which
Nothing
direction do we want to go in?
So, are we listening to this door and Moz will gesture towards the door to the south? Over the top of broken glass.
Whoa, not what I wanted to do. Come back.
No, there's broken glass in the cabinet.
Yeah, the cabinet. Just remember, it's the whole cabinet is kind of hinged off the wall, so it's you know it's yeah. In terms of sort of listening to it, it's like you can't really listen through the cabinet. You're gonna kind of have to open it a bit and have a look through and then do your listening. That said, with the rolls that I've done, you don't hear anything as it stands.
We do not hear the goblin polka band in the next room.
No. Yeah.
Everything is safe. I have no suspicions whatsoever.
Everything is awesome.
Get demonetized for that if we're not careful.
We get monetized?
No.
We're being. All right. You know what? Does anybody else want to go first, or shall I? You know, I won't make presumptions.
I'm letting you go first. Which door do we want to pick first?
The one to the south.
Yeah, it has been mentioned a few
South
times.
is-
It's the one to the south
I
that you're going for.
apologise. I'm sorry.
The one to the north links up to where you've been already.
Oh, yes. Sorry, yes. This is what happens
Probably,
when I take my
maybe.
meds close to when we start recording. I get sleepy and my brain just can't focus for a sec.
I'm entirely sure why you can see through that wall.
Yeah, I'll sort of query that a little bit.
Magic.
Oh no, you can see through that wall.
Is there a spy hole? Is there a spy hole in that? There is. There's got to be a spy hole in
Yes,
that wall.
it's spy holes in the wall.
That's
Oh.
awesome. And it looks like a prison cell?
Quarters of some description.
Huh. Creepy.
Yep.
There's a door down there too.
And spy holes into a bubbly room?
A room that appears to be filled with several foot thick of black sludge.
Ew.
Ew.
That's not.
That feels bad.
Hmm.
Hang on a minute. Moz is going to dip his hand into his pocket and just throw caltrops straight through the air into this room as hard as he can.
Which one? The one to the south?
This room directly south, because he just had a paranoia moment.
Yeah, no, that's entirely fair. So as you chuck the caltrops in, nothing appears to happen. Okay, so that's the first thing. So you lob a load of caltrops in. However, you are entirely correct that there is something wrong about this room, and I will allow, certainly you don't need a perception check to have gone, I'm going to stop. Because there are bones and dismembered limbs scattered throughout this room.
Okay, limbs is better.
Lovely.
Perversely, limbs is better. He obviously put 2 and 2 together and got 6. There's a big room full of black ooze, and there's bones around here. His brain went straight away to oozes.
Yeah, it's
Throwing
reasonable.
things through the air because they can be transparent.
It's reasonable. I mean, you've thrown stuff into here. That's fair enough. So as you kind of round the corner, as it were, and you've decided to put a halt on everybody's movement, I'm gonna kind of guess to a certain extent that what you then do is play a little bit of Ring the Roses for everybody to go, right, let's have a look in this room, let's see what's going on. Can everybody have a decent look? I'm not willing to go any further until we've done it. And actually, not all of you spot this, but quite a few of you do. So Neffy will spot this. It will be spotted by Phelan as well. It's one of those rooms which is definitely designed for somebody just stumbling through it and not paying attention, because after paying a little bit of attention, you start to spot that crisscrossing the room appear to be grooves that go through the wall in a line along the floor and then back up the other side. And that happens roughly in 6 lines that go round the room. In addition to that, there are at least 3 tiles on the floor that look like they might depress slightly.
Don't step on those yet.
Any letters on the floor or something? Some awkward E word? No, just straight up floor tiles.
Just straight up floor tiles.
How, Neffy, your eyes, as sharp as they are for pie stealing, I think they might be a little bit sharper than my eyes for spotting exactly what's going on with this floor. It's a bit weird.
Seems quite trap-like.
Have you got any chalk?
Yes, I believe so. Give me a second. Where's my inventory? Which one is inventory? There it is.
If you haven't, I've got like 9 sticks of the damn stuff.
I have 10.
Let's mark out what ones are dubious. Not by, well, obviously, yeah, not by marking themselves, but like by putting arrows at them. That's
marking the bit next to it with an arrow. Yeah.
So you have a feeling, Neffy, that given enough time, this is something you could disable with some thievery checks. You would effectively have to roll a thievery check for each of the 6 blades to disable each one.
Okay.
Ooh, so now we know that they're blades.
Fun.
Well, I mean, it's relatively clear that it's something that swings out of the wall and then travels along that route. it would be very difficult for it to be anything other than a blade, realistically.
Fair enough.
We really need you to see Raiders of the Lost Ark. That's where my brain went as well after this.
Well, Last Crusade.
Last Crusade, sorry. Last Crusade.
More films for the list.
More Indiana Jones.
Oh
even
god,
better.
what's the phrase that triggers that one?
I have a
Yeah,
list.
yeah.
It's no real.
Only the penitent man may pass.
Yeah. It's,
But then there's a second phrase which gets you out of the way.
is it he kneels in the presence of God but stands true? Or something like that, anyway.
Along those lines, yeah, because he kneels down and one goes over his head.
And then,
But then another one comes
prostrating
straight
himself.
yeah.
Yeah, if he prostrated himself as one of the other Abrahamic faiths does, then he'd been cut in half. But because he stood, he was fine.
But anyway,
I
yes.
could try disabling.
Yes.
You could absolutely try it. It is a roll that you get to make entirely of your own, and we'll see how things go.
Oh god. Okay. Let's start with the first one. That is a 12 plus 11. So 23.
Okay, it's not a critical fail,
Oh god.
but you immediately have to step back as you realise you put a bit of weight on the pressure plate, and all of a sudden 6 blades go dancing across the room. You've managed to get yourself out of the way. What's then even more peculiar is that after the 6 blades have moved across their various routes, all of a sudden all 6 blades suddenly start moving around. And you get a sudden feeling that the blades' locations can change.
Oh goody.
Because the markings on the floor have moved, and you look around behind you, and there's now a line behind you.
Does this appear to be magical? Like there's some sort of spell doing this?
It certainly didn't sound like any mechanism was moving around to trigger these things to happen.
Can we check the Arcana?
You could do, yeah. What's your Arcanum bonus?
11. So it's trained. I rolled an 18. Oh, you're rolling it, aren't
I'm
you?
rolling that one. As it happened, I didn't roll much less than that. So, yeah, it's definitely magical. It's definitely a magical trap.
Is it anything I can figure out with occultism or haunt lore? I mean, it doesn't feel like a haunt, but
No,
weird.
it's not a haunt, so that's not going to trigger off. Occultism would be only any good. Would only be as good as Arcana, if that makes sense, because it is fundamentally a magical trap. That said, what you do know, Neffy, is because you've heard of this before, is this is a trap known as the Shuffling Scythe Blades.
Okay.
And you quite literally, they can shift around to any area that's designated as part of their space.
Okay.
Well, putting a rope around you is not going to work this time, I don't think. Have to pull you out of the way.
So are the
We do. I only want one person in the room at a time then, because we don't want to sacrifice anybody else who gets caught by the shift.
So when the markings and stuff move, do the pressure plates appear to have moved?
Yeah.
Oh, poo.
Hold on a sec, guys.
Let's not disable them. Let's just mark and avoid. Mark and avoid. Don't disable them. If they're just a couple of tiles in here, if there's like less than a dozen tiles, that's like less than a row in this place. Let's just mark the ones to avoid, and then avoid them. Don't bother disabling it. If we have to run out, we know which ones we don't run on.
So, to make matters worse for you, Neffy, You've now had a look at this, the pressure plates have moved, and you start to realise that it could be any square is a pressure plate. You saw 3 this time. You don't actually know for certain if it's just 3.
Red Queen, can you stop this?
Does anyone have the capacity to dispel this? I don't think any of us has that, do we?
No, that'll be a signifier, and then no, not my skill set.
You what you are aware of is that these things kind of have like trigger words. But yeah, where they are now. The only thing I would say on this one is you're aware that there's at least one cut through in the corridor that you're now in. It's behind your group. Somebody's kind of gone, why is that up here? What the hell's that? You can actually do a little check to work out how many blades are in each section. So having a look into the main chamber now, and with a natural 20, you are aware that there aren't any in that main chamber anymore.
Right.
But you're
I'm
pretty
not gonna
certain.
lie, I'm a little bit
You're pretty certain now that you've
suspicious
got
of
to
that.
here, anywhere that you walk could set off the traps. In fact, now that you think about it, as you're walking down the corridor, you're pretty certain it was probably set off a few times as you walked down the corridor, and you just got lucky.
Based on pressure plates or based on words?
Just based on people walking down pressure plates.
Okay.
Now that you think about it, this trap was probably something you were setting off as you were walking down the corridor. You just didn't realise it.
Hear it. Yeah. Okay. So there isn't really a way through the room. Looks like we need to find another way around.
But
if
we go back, we're going to be setting it off some more and probably getting those blades in the face. Because there's not an awful lot of room to dodge in that corridor.
So we know that door up in the room with the broken glass cabinet, that theoretically takes us to a corridor back to the way we came, or does it maybe split? We don't know.
Don't know.
So is it worth us going back and checking on that room to start with? I'd rather not try and run through this room full of blades.
Yeah, but this is the thing. The corridor is just as likely to be full of blades as the room is.
We've got to pick
that
a
we
place.
just
We want to
want
go forward or back.
So we're
you're at the point
just
where you kind of need to disable as much as you can. And
I can try and disable what's nearest me, I guess.
What did I miss?
The corridor's just as rigged as the room.
The one we just walked down.
Yeah.
Sorry, which corridor?
The corridor we just walked down.
Sorry, I
The one
assumed
we're
we'd
all
have
in.
paused. Right.
Yeah, nothing significant. Basically, the corridor is just as dangerous as the room.
So have we not tripped it then?
We did.
We probably have.
Macerated bits.
We probably did
Oh,
as we
okay.
were walking down, but didn't realise. And now
Excellent.
everything's
Right.
shifted around. There might be blades in the corridor as well as in the
Okay.
room.
Right.
So I'm going to try and deactivate anything that's near.
Yeah, give it a go. You can sort of have a look around. You spot where there is in the corridor that you're in that you might be able to sort of shuffle carefully to, and you try and disable it.
That is... can't read the dice. It's a 15 plus 11, so 26.
That
Not enough?
deactivates one of them.
Okay.
So the trap now only has 5 blades remaining.
Should I try and find another one?
Now,
We...
I will say this. I'm kind of guessing what everybody's doing is kind of putting their feet to the sides, making sure they're not putting down too much weight. And Neffy is effectively very carefully trying to squeeze past people. I would like an acrobatics check from Neffy as the person that's moving to see how gentle they're being and if they set it off.
Right. Okay, sorry. My brain did not process anything you said. It heard words. Say that again. What do I need to do?
Make an acrobatics check. See
Got
if you
you.
can get past everyone without setting off the trap.
Okay, so that is 26.
Okay. Again, because that's the sort of main DC that you're going for, I'm going to say that that is fine. You successfully wander down the corridor, carefully checking things out. You work out that there is, in fact, one more in the corridor that you're in.
Okay.
So you can attempt
Presumably
to
up
disable
near a
this.
Lauren or something.
Yeah.
So if I move my character up. There we go.
Mm-hmm.
I am so nervous. Why? That is a nat 20.
No
Okay.
problems. You very carefully, and effectively what you're doing here is the blades are physical objects, so you're fundamentally carefully prying these blades out of the wall, removing them from the mechanical part of the system. So if it ever sets off, you'll hear a whizzing noise as the thing goes through, but there'll be no blade attached to it. And what you're finding is that these are almost like circular saws.
Mm-hmm.
That you're sort of carefully prying off of the mechanism. Your only downside now is you can't see any more in this corridor. You know that there are 4 more, and there's no way you can step across that large room without setting them off.
I want to go back.
Well, we sort of know what this area is, and having a shifty look, know loosely how big it is. Somewhere around here, there's got to be an entrance way to a whole bunch of cells. Because that's what we can see through the peepholes. And whatever that black ooze is, we know loosely there are a bunch of cells here. We've got like Colosseum space as well. So maybe what we've stumbled onto is the back way for staff to move between cells and to spy on prisoners before they get yeeted into the Colosseum. We found something out. It's a whole lot more risky than anything else staying around here. Leaving isn't a bad choice. How does everyone else feel?
Yep.
Phelan, Invar, how you feeling?
As far as I grab this, we're as good either way. So I have no preference.
Okay. So
I mean,
you know what to do.
I quite like being in one piece, but I also quite like not being infected by a whole bunch of fungus.
There's the north way out of that other room. We've
The
just
north
come
way
the
out,
secret south way.
which links up with that bridge over the big passageway down to the basilisks.
Are we sure? Are we sure it doesn't have any other turnings, options, doors?
That's what I was going to say. We don't know what
Check it.
other things are that way.
You are 100% certain that other than going into the tavern that you found, or climbing up onto the ledge, that there was a bridge just before the tavern, and you could attempt to climb up onto that bridge. Other than that, it's only south out of that corridor as far as you could see. Straight to the basilisks.
I still think it's weird and therefore interesting that there's a tavern down here.
Mm-hmm.
That is possibly the oddest thing,
Mm-hmm.
considering Wormy
Where we
Boy
are.
was upstairs. What we've encountered down here for the most part has been ghosts, ghoulies, demons, and otherwise. Or the
Why is there a tavern? Yeah.
Jack is there a tavern? So a little bit of acrobatics.
Yeah.
Maybe try the bridge. I'm big enough to stand on. Imba?
Well, I'm just looking at what we've got here. If we've got jail cells, then there must have been guards at some point, and guards need off time, and it's a bit far from the surface, so having a tavern makes sense. But that should mean we will also find, like, sleeping quarters.
Why is the tavern still active? Why does it sound like a
Hmm.
tavern? That's the bit that interests
I
me.
didn't
Don't
say
get me
they
wrong,
were
I do-
alive.
And why are they in the tavern?
Because there's no work
odd.
to do. Where else are you going to go?
When you're dead. It's a whole bunch of weird. It's a whole bunch of interesting.
Yeah, it is. It is very much so. The other way of looking at it, we reckon we've got about a minute before that fungus starts to cause us a risk, right?
Yeah.
How far can
Oh,
we
no.
get exploring? If we can go half a minute's worth of runtime away from a safe space,
Mm.
can we find somewhere else to be? And if we haven't found
Matt,
a door,
how combustible is that fungus?
Fireball!
do the
Is-
spores
is-
survive being smoked, or are you just going to
is-
disperse it?
This is the question. Will it burn up, or will it just aerosolize and
So-
fill a greater area?
I'm the way I'm looking at it, because with a lot of things like this, it doesn't really ever explain what would happen if you just lobbed a fireball in or whatever your choice of fire creation tool is. This comes very much from fungus blossoms, and honestly, from my perspective, it's so you the question I would ask is, can the heat of the fire burn off something which is clearly like a damp bit of furniture or a rotting bit of furniture? And it's a wooden lounger with fabric on the top. A fireball would decimate it, really, if we were going into full-blown things. And I'm happy to say that, if the choice is, I'm going to roll a flaming sphere around it for as long as I can concentrate on the blasted thing, I'd imagine you'll wipe away the spores as well over time.
Yeah.
So if you're literally just sitting there going, yep, that sphere's just going to be in there, going round, I'm happy to say that will clear it, and you will not have to deal with it, because I think, from a thematic point of view, it's probably the best way, other than just having it sit there being a constant problem.
Now, the only downside to that is I've used my flaming sphere for the day.
Well, there is that.
Do we set up for a rest? We could
Here.
set up in that room, in the small room up above. We could set up, because we could shut those doors, lock ourselves in.
Assuming the traps aren't in that room as well.
Well, yes, I can investigate when we get to the room.
Okay.
I have to admit, as much as I'm not versed in sneaky, stealthy stuff, having random blades turn up inside of a room would be entirely problematic to people just walking through. It's probably, I get the feeling it might be linked to just a secret-y bit. I hope. Well, the furniture wasn't smashed to bits.
It would have been smashed to
Correct.
bits if.
It would have been sliced and diced.
Yeah.
As much as these guys are giblets.
That's reasonable logic.
It's not bad. It's not bad. Just as a note,
Yes.
Dave, give yourself a hero point for the flaming sphere. And JJ, get a hero point for realizing that that is a safe room.
Hey!
Jim's being generous. Paranoia. We're gonna die.
Oh,
He's gonna
no.
murder us
I
all.
know.
We're always going
I'm
to
on
die.
edge. Maybe
Trust
he
issues
felt
come
bad for
back.
nearly killing me on Monday, and therefore he's
No.
being nice now.
Nah.
He hasn't given you
It's not how
any
it works.
his trust.
No, unfortunately, what I am going to say is, if this is your decision and this is what you're going to do, I do want, and you guys are going to roll this, perception checks from every single one of you.
Right up. Normal perception, not linked to anything in particular.
Normal perception, not linked to anything in particular.
Swine.
Okay. Oops, Daisy. Well, that plate didn't work.
Ooh, it's not bad.
16.
In fact, it's just a
26.
middle. That's horrible.
What am I rolling?
Okay. Hero point in, hero point out. I did not like
Yeah,
it.
here, point out. I'm going to do that again. That's a lot better. That's a lot better.
Right, 10 plus 8 for 18.
Okay,
26.
26. Phelan,
4 plus 13 for 17.
17. Moz,
18 on the dice plus 10 for 28.
okay. Neffy, you start getting yourself forwards, getting yourself back down the corridor. As you're moving, you're spotting places not to step, you're moving over them, you're jumping around, you're doing all the various bits and pieces. You can move a full round's move down the corridor.
5, 10, 15, 25, 30, 35. Cool.
Okay. Moz, you managed to also shift yourself, but you are slowed down a little bit by Inver. Obviously, Inver's in front of you. The downside is that Phelan and Inver did not spot the pattern of pressure plates on the floor that were still there. So I'd like you all to move yourself one full move down the corridor, because you get to.
It's my move speed. 25, isn't it?
Yep, you move one more than I do. If you turn me to giblets, I'm going to be silly dischuffed. And I already know who I'm bringing
Tom
back.
arrives. Yeah.
Yeah, dead Tom. It's all dead Tom.
I'm already like.
Okay.
I've got Mashuni. She's ready.
As you get to this point in the corridor, it's at this point that Inver and Phelan go, shit.
Oops.
And you feel,
And then oops.
you feel a small section of the tile underneath your foot depresses as you stand on it. Luckily, all of the blades that are in this corridor have been disabled. Unluckily, as the 4 blades somewhere else down the corridor whiz down their various tracks, for their last action of the turn, all the blades move.
So now there's a 2 in 6 chance that the blades in here are the same,
First blade
but also not.
is not here. Second blade is not here. Third blade. All of a sudden in front of Moz, you see a line appear on the floor and the walls right in front of you.
It's fine. It's in front of me. It's not here. It's not where I am. It's in front of me.
Next blade is not here. I now want all of you to roll initiative.
Oh.
Oh.
Pooh.
Do we get the bonus from Moz?
Scouting, because I
You
always scout.
will, yep.
So have your +1.
So that's going to be a hero point. It's better.
Oh,
Do not need a
Jesus.
4 on the dice for this.
Okay, let me just get all combat states up and we will...
Combat states.
Innocent, I tell you.
You're not innocent. Right, we're recording again. Initiatives, please. So I'm going to go with Neffy to start with.
16 on the dice plus 10 plus 1, so 27.
27 for the Neffy. Okay. Moz?
Oh, I'm sticking with my original dice roll. I'm not hero dicing this. I rolled a 2 with initiative of +12. We're sticking with 14.
14. Okay. It's Phelan then next.
Grand total of 26.
26. Okay, and we'll go with Inva next.
So after rolling a 4 and hero pointing it, I have 14 plus 9 plus 1 for 24.
24. Okay, we'll begin this encounter immediately with the blades acting first in initiative because I rolled a 38.
Oh my god!
Initiative. The blade in front of Moz slides out of the wall as Moz is just sort of off balancing into it. It's going to swing at you, Moz. It's going to roll a 33 to hit.
That's rude because my AC is 23, so that's a crit.
Uh-huh.
No!
Okay.
Oh, bye, Moz.
Bye bye.
So-
Black screen.
Firstly, it's going to do. Okay, not too bad. 20 points of initial slashing damage, but it's it's a deadly weapon, so it also gets an additional D12 on top of that, so another 5 on top of that. So 25 points of damage. It then disappears into the wall. You hear all the other ones buzzing around you, and then they move again. That one isn't here. That one isn't here.
Is there a dodge? Is there a dodge
one's
action
here.
you can prep or take?
Nope. As you're looking down the corridor, you see no other blades. And it is Neffy's turn.
Do I see any traps or anything like that I can deactivate to stop the blades, or is there nothing?
No,
that...
there's nothing in this
stands
corridor
out?
now. Nothing at all.
Okay, then I suppose the best option is for me to literally just make it through the door and then give space for people. I can't really do much else. And then yell, "Everybody run!" and hope that everyone uses their actions to sprint.
Okay. Phelan, it's your turn.
Right. Well, Olorin is going to follow Neffy.
She's like, "Who's a good boy?" as he comes through.
I've just heard Moz go arg.
You can still hear swearing. It's not that loud. You
Okay.
can still hear swearing.
Right. In that case, 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3. Actually, no. I'm going to park myself there, just by the side of it.
Okay,
Outside the
dokie.
doorway.
All right then. Then that would make it Inva's turn next.
I move more slowly and be more careful.
Can you move more slowly? Yes, you can perceive as you're walking. You'd effectively move at half speed, but it would give you a perception check for this sort of stuff. Which I'll let you roll, to be fair, as well.
Thank you. No, this is the character where I can only help you when you're already dying. Oh, no, it isn't. No, I can do healing before then. I'm gonna throw a rank 1 heal at Moz.
Okay, that would be 2 actions because he's at range. So you'd only get 1 action to move then.
Get out of here.
Yeah, that's okay.
Okay, fair enough.
That's 25 feet, right? But halved.
Yeah, so you'd get 10 foot.
Yeah, but I kind of like Moz being alive, so.
That's fair.
Don't worry, I'm attached to my hide as well.
2d8 plus anything, maybe. That's
Not.
20 anyway. That's no help.
It's 2d8 plus 8. Oh well, plus 16 if you're rolling if it's level 2.
Oh no, it was level 1.
Level 1, then it'll be
1d8 plus
1d8
8.
plus 8.
So 7 plus 8 for 15 hit points.
Okay, so Moz gets that back, and then you're not
perception.
moving forward fastly. You're perceiving as you go. So roll a perception check. 15 for Moz.
And
What was the perception check?
perception 8, 9, and 8 for 17.
17. Okay, you don't see any more signs of any traps in this corridor. You can move on 1 more as well. And then...
So not seeing them is exactly the problem. This gives me no confidence whatsoever.
I know, it's the phrasing, isn't it?
It is, yeah.
And then it's Moz's turn.
Yay.
Remember, you can go completely past your allies. It is an allowed thing.
People were standing next to me, weren't they? And I've cleared most of this path.
Mm-hmm.
There were people in front of Invar. There were people between me and Invar. So therefore, I reasonably believe I can. I do the phrases 1, 2.
Zoidberg. You're
1, 2,
Zoidberging
3,
away.
4, 5, 6, 7, 8 for 2.2 sets of movement.
Okay.
And then prepare to aid.
Okay.
If
It
possible.
swings round to the machine's turn. You hear 4 blades swinging around somewhere behind you in the various corridors and chambers. No. 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 And you do not see any lines appear on the floor anywhere.
Run.
Neffy, are you doing anything?
No. No.
Okay.
Can't
Phelan?
really do anything from here.
Are you doing anything?
I'm going to do some combat medicine on Mozron.
Mm-hmm.
Osron may have to do something very stupid in a moment,
Uh-oh.
depending on how bad it goes.
So I am rolling against my nature, 13. For a total of 26, and that's what, 2d8 for Almazo?
Mm-hmm.
26 was that?
26, if you're aiming at a 15, would be 4d8, because it would be a crit.
Okay. Okay. In that case, that's 8 more hit points for Moz.
Woo. Maths, 53. Okay.
Okay. Inva.
So if I dedicate my whole move to moving slowly with perception, I have enough moves to get
You
into
would.
the
Yep.
corridor. So
You don't see anything on the floor, though, as far as you know.
I like this body.
You've been attached to it for a great many weeks.
Exactly. We're probably on
Been like
months.
3 days in the game.
13 and 8 for 21 this time.
Yeah, you don't see anything on the floor. or on the walls, or
Again, you see there is nothing, and you don't see anything are two very different sentences in this context.
Yes.
Yes,
You make
they
it out.
are.
You do think you did tread on at least one pressure plate as you went that you'd missed as you were going along, but it didn't seem to be re-triggering the effect. It's almost like it was already going.
I will own up to that, and then we'll go somewhere else.
After you leave the area, you stop hearing the blades moving.
Yeah. I think that's the best indicator we're going to get that is a very dubious corridor.
I feel like that's a future us problem.
Mm-hmm.
And current us should handle the fungus.
Talking about future you problems, that's where we're going to take a break.
Oh, smooth.
I do my best. We'll take a break there while these guys now try and work out whether or not they want to be rendered limb from limb by blades, deal with fungus, or run through rooms and hope they avoid basilisks. We'll catch you next time, guys. Bye bye for now.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
Bye.